What it do, YouTube, man? It's your boy Bad Habits here, and today I have my first story time for you guys. Now, being that this is my first one, it's probably going to be a lot trash, to say the least. But I'm willing to sit there and listen to the feedback. But I know y'all not here from me talking about how bad it's going to be. Let's sit here and talk about the time I witnessed my middle school principal and teacher get fired. Now, the middle school that I went to was called NIMS. NIMS was a middle school, like a very bad middle school. It was bad to the point where like people were getting in fights. There was a lot of expulsions, and plus there was a lot of people, getting caught doing some dumb shit in the freaking school. In the school and shit, right? But out of all the students there, me and a few others were like a small group of good students wouldn't really do shit because we were freaking normalized students. But this situation happened after I got into a confrontation with another student. That would be in the next story time. But this was days after that situation. And we were sitting there and I was sitting there having a normal conversation. I was sitting in class at one point. This was during history, I believe. We're chilling in class, and the teacher tells me, "Hey, you have the principal wants to see you in his office. Here's a pass to the principal's office." And I'm like, "Okay, I didn't really do shit, but this is a bit of a situation that happened prior, so." I didn't really give a shit about going to the office because I've already sat and told you everything, and I don't want to get in trouble like bullshit. So I went up to the office. Now, as I'm walking there, the way the class is set up, the way that the school is set up is, the school is like rectangular-ish. It goes around the circle, and there's a large field in between the building. And there's a hallway that go through that field. That hallway leads to the gym that goes straight down, and where my class is, straight into the right. And there's other classes to the left, and the cafeteria is on the left. So as I'm walking, I notice a teacher that I had next period go into the office, walking towards the front office area. Now, her name was Miss Green, and when I tell you, this bitch was bad, I swear to God, if I wasn't freaking like 12 or 13 at that time, bro, I would be busting those walls down, like, all the time. She was bad, freaking small waist, perfect figure, beautiful in the face, everything. She was bad, bro. So as I'm walking up to the front office, I says, "Hey, Miss Green, how you doing today?" She's like, "I'm doing fine. Why are you walking up to the office as well?" That was the shit that she asked me, because I was a hothead, but I wasn't really like always getting myself in trouble. I always kept to myself, and I always left people alone. So she was wondering why I was going to the office. As in her class, I was one of like the chillest students there. So she's wondering why I was going to the office, and I told her like a situation that happened a few days ago during 6th period. And she was like, "Okay, cool." So she beats me to the freaking front office, right? So I'm sitting there. So as I get there, the front office girl was like, "Hey, the principal wants to see." I was like, "Hey, I have a ticket here to see the principal." She said, "Okay." The principal's kind of already talking to her right now. "Can you sit down in the hallway?" Like, fine. The way the hallway is set up is like there's a hall down the hall. There's like 3 doors, and the rest are just a wall and chairs. So I'm down the hall on the last chair from the freaking principal office. I don't want to be sitting there listening to somebody else's freaking situation for no reason. Like, I'm not that nosy. Okay. But as I'm sitting there, I sit at the end. And the principal's door is already all the way is the last door on the left. So I'm just sitting there chilling, minding my business. Doing what any other freaking kid would do at that situation. play with the freaking wall, fiddle his fingers, you know. Do absolutely, positively nothing to get yourself into trouble at all. Right? I'm sitting there and I'm chilling. I'm thinking to myself, man, why the freak did I fight that kid? In the next story, I'll explain that in the next story time. But why the freak did I fight that kid? I shouldn't be in here. And while I'm sitting there thinking to myself about that situation as I'm fiddling my fingers, I hear like the faint sound of like clapping in the background. Now, to me, it's like I don't really give a shit. It's like nigga, I'm like 12, 13. I don't really care and shit. So I'm sitting there, I'm hearing this clap, and I'm like, who the freak got a raise? And like no one should have got a raise right now. Not even close to payday yet. So as I'm sitting there, the clapping gets like louder and louder. I'm like, what the fuck is going on in here? And then I hear like moaning. Now, like I said before, NIMS is a bad school. Like everybody got in trouble. People fight, like teachers fight parents and shit. Nothing serious to the point where someone got killed or something. But this is not out of the ordinary. But to me, I never freaking witnessed it. So as we're sitting there, I'm like, what is that noise? What the fuck is going on? So my goofy behind walks up to the principal's door, because that's where it sounded the loudest from. And the way the principal's door had his door, he had blinds and like a sheet that covered the window. But at this point, the sheet was like tied up and the blinds were like slightly completely closed. But I was capable of seeing through like the little peephole, the little hole on the side of it. So I'm just looking, and unbeknownst to me, I see a bald-headed dude laying pipe to Miss Green, like laying it down, like he was putting in that work. I've never seen a dude sweat so hard in my entire freaking life. Like this dude was going at it. Miss Green, I was like, damn, Miss Green, fight back, do something. Like, punch him in the face, kick him in the balls, do something. This dude was going to town on her pussy. It was hilarious. Out of nowhere, while I'm sitting there, to my right, to my left, I hear the front office lady. She's like, hey, what you doing standing in front of the principal's door? Go sit down, like I said. I was like, no, because you should come and hear this and see this. And she's like, no, go sit the freak down. Like, no, I'm being dead serious. I'm saying like, no, I'm being dead serious. Look what's going on. And she walks up to the door. Now, she pushed me out of the way for no goddamn reason because she's a fucking dickhead. But as I'm sitting there looking at the freaking thing, she looks in the window and her face showed pure like disgust and freaking shock. Because come to find out, the front desk lady and Miss Green were sisters, and she was not cute, and Miss Green was cute. So, and the front desk lady already had a crush on the freaking principal. Now you might sit there and be thinking, oh, this is some little kiddie shit. Like, dude, this school was always about that shit. So as we're sitting there, she gets this freaking look of disgust and freaking in shock and awe, and I'm just sitting there like, why the fuck are you flabbergasted? And this young happens on the daily, and it's like, oh my god. So she busts through the door. Now, it's funny when people get caught fucking. It's the most funniest shit ever. But the moment the door busts open, I swear to you, this dude, like, I never seen a dude go from sweaty to dry within a few seconds, bro. Like, his skin, like, sucked in all the freaking sweat. Like, it was so freaking fast. Like, the sweat that he had on him disappeared when she opened that door. So as they freaking go, as she busts through the door and catches them in the act, Miss Green and her start fighting, and it's the funniest shit ever. Cause I've never seen a girl fight with nut on her face. She had nut on her face. No, for real, she had nut on her face. Cause They was just close to finish. They had just finished, right? So just nut on her face. She was going to go wipe it off, but nut was on her face, and they were fighting and shit. And at one point, she legit like grabbed some of the nut off her face and slapped the freaking front desk lady in the face with it. And that shit was hilarious. I was dying, and that joke was funny as shit. And the moment that happened, like oh my god, that joke was funny. That was the funniest fight I ever seen in my life. Like, this was like chairs was being thrown, titties were popping out, and freaking nut was going everywhere. I was sitting there laughing, but then at that point I just left the freaking area and walked to class, because like there was no purpose of me being there. So as I went to class, when I got back to class, I sat down and the teacher was like, so what did so people were like, what did the principal talk about? I was like, nothing, you don't want to know. A few weeks later, we get an announcement over the PA that the principal and Miss Green have both been fired, because those two were like the best. Like Mr. Cole was a cool principal. He was chill. He wasn't really that bad of a person. But Miss Green was literally the school's favorite. She was literally everyone's favorite. So she got fired. They got fired that after a week and shit. And the funniest part about it is, that's not the only story of me catching someone in the act of fucking on the school property. It was hilarious, but that was the one that was that was the one that, like, that was the one that was the funniest to me, because of the simple fact that that girl got slapped in the face with nut. That was funny as fuck to me. And what makes it worse is, like, Miss Green was like a good teacher. She only worked there for about like a year. She only worked there for a year, which is hilarious. She only worked there for a year, and she got fired for fucking the principal. That was hilarious. But that's the end of this story time. If you want more, don't even worry about it, because I'm gonna do more anyway. Won't really matter. I have another story time ready by, let's see, I'd say Friday. And with that, I'm out this bitch. Peace.